Thanks for visiting my YouTube channel. In this video, we're going to take a look at a UAE C-Suite and Executive Database. It's got 17,779 verified decision makers, and part of the video is going to describe their hidden link to the UAE Family Office Database. Now, to start with, this database is not for sale. I'm going to show you this Excel spreadsheet coming up in a bit, but this is a custom database and it's not sold or licensed. It powers the retainer-based capital raising mandates I run for clients. So I work with groups raising from $50 million and up, using this intelligence to reach the right decision makers on their behalf. So it's a little bit different than the other databases that I have on my website, but it's to be used for people who actually want me on a retainer, and it is a database that I'm using at this present time for a very, very large capital raise. So what is it? Well, it's a verified map of UAE business leadership. So the UAE C-Suite Executive Database profiles the people who actually run the Emirates private economy, founders, owners, chairmen, and C-level decision makers across every major industry. And again, it's tied to my family office database because a lot of the people that are in here are what I call the people that are hidden in clear sight. They're right in front of us, but you don't actually know that they're parts of family offices. So it's really key thing to be able to use if you're looking to raise capital. Number one, they're verified in name. These are real people with titles, companies, roles, and contact data, non-anonymous records. Two, it's scored and tiered. And every contact carries an investor potential score and priority tier ready to prioritize. And I've used a premium AI service to do this for me. It's a large database. I've matched it up with one of my other databases, and that's how the magic happens. So three, it's built for outreach. It's structured for fund managers, advisors, and sponsors who need to reach decision makers. Again, this database is really only for people who hire me on a retainer basis. So by the numbers, total executives, 17,779, of which there are 7,100 founders. There are 6,422 pure C-suite contacts, 2,685 partners, 2,604 that are leading IT and service companies, and 1,400 that are heading real estate firms. So again, these are the creme de la creme, the top leaders in the UAE. So seniority and industry coverage at scale. It's a directive of the UAE's operating leadership, not a generic mailing list. So the key questions is how many of these leaders are tied to a family office, and that was the exercise that I wanted to find out because I knew they were in there, but I needed some deep research to find it out. So in the Gulf, private wealth and operating businesses are deeply intertwined. Many of the region's family offices are run by the very founders and chairmen in this database. We cross-referenced all 17,779 against my verified global and UAE family office databases to find them, and out of it I have 135 that I would be able to say are, yes, these are verified inside and known family office people. Even at that range of the 17,000, that makes this database very, very valuable. Well, what was more interesting, there's about 680 that are likely linked, realistic working estimate. So that's a pretty good chunk. That doesn't even count to the fact that there's another 15, 16,000 key people in this database who would be interested in investment opportunities if they were the right ones. So it really helps serve two purposes. It beefs up the UAE Family Investment Office database, and it also helps with further outreach and understanding who the key players are in the market. So the method, how we found them, so 3 singles, 1 confidence score, and again, you're going to see this on the Excel spreadsheet coming up. Verified name match, so company names were matched across 5,000 firms in the global and UAE family office databases, and that was the strongest signal. 2, explicit family office naming. Firms that openly carry family office, family investment, or single multifamily language in their descriptions or profiles on their websites. Again, there's all cross-reference to come up with this. It was an exercise that did take a while. I did use AI, but I used a premium AI service, not just a basic scrap. Now, 3, investment role in industry. That's really key. Senior figures, CIOs, principal MDs working inside investment management or venture capital and private equity. So, in short, I mean, this is just a really quick verified matches. You've got Galadari brothers, you've got Al Ghurair, you've got Ghassan Aboud Group, Al Nabouda, plus hundreds more in investment management and private capital roles. So how to use it? So basically, this is how I'm using it. I'm going to start with the 135 approach, the high confidence matches as verified family office contacts immediately. That's what we would do to start off with any mandate. We want to hit what we call the low hanging fruit. And then I work the 680 scene. That's a pre-qualified scored short list of likely family office linked decision makers to prioritize. But you're going to keep the full 17,779. That's to use the complete database for its core purpose, reaching UAE business leadership at scale. Again, on my website, you can see some of the salary ranges for these parties, and many of them are going to fall under high net worth, and many are going to be ultra high net worth. And then personalize and enrich, so you're going to layer and roll scores and tiers to time and tailor every approach. Okay, now let's take a look at the database on the Excel sheet. First off, this is the analysis part. So you can see here, total executives, we have 17,779. Of it, high confidence, 135. And you see here that likely, 684. And we've got some of the key components of how the screening was done. Again, it was done with a premium AI group, and we were able to really drill down and match up these two large databases. And keep in mind, this was paired with the UAE Family Investment Office database. That particular one has 772 pages of analysis and background. So it's a great database. Now, scored database, you can see here, this is the master database. Scroll down to the bottom, you can see 17,779, and you can see here we've got score a rank. In other words, I just basically rank the individual. These are individuals, one all the way down to 17,779, just purely as keeping the numbers in line. It doesn't necessarily mean it's exactly a science. It doesn't mean that the top 10 are going to be any better than the middle 50, but it's just the way that they rank. So you've got total scores here. You've got tiers, platinum, investor potential. It does rank whether they'd be high, medium. Again, there will not be any lows on here because we've already screened those out. This database started actually around 65,000. Then I put it down to 17,779, which is what we would use for campaign. Think of this as campaign ready database. You don't have to do any thinking. It's already been done. The heavy lifting's been done to get it down to here. You can see we've got some score seniority. You've got the industry score. Company scale. Basically, a lot of it has to do with how big the company is, the profile. And then if you scroll over to the right, you get more information. And what I've done is I've kept it confidential. I've blocked out names. I've blocked out their emails. This would be their company emails. And I've blocked out their mobiles. Now, one thing to keep in mind about this database is there's a ton of information on here. You've got their personal LinkedIns, their company LinkedIns, you've got their websites. Now, if we scroll over to the very far right, you can see the Family Investment Office confidence and signals. So you can see here, these are the 685 that were picked as a potential relationship to a family investment office. And you can see as I go down to the bottom, as the scores get lower and lower, that's going to typically mean that they're not going to be somebody that would be affiliated. Doesn't mean they can't be used for regular campaigns, but if you wanted to start to really drill down and talk about family investment offices and try to match them up and use the technology to assist you with, this is a great tool. Now, one thing to keep in mind, that as you can see here, the status deliverable, that means these emails have been verified with a premium service that I use, and usually I do this every 6 months. When I use it for campaign, it's usually done about a week before we actually start sending out emails. What does that mean? That means you're not going to have very many bounce backs, in fact, hardly any. And that's obviously important when you're doing a large campaign. Now, if we look at the Family Investment Office candidates themselves, you can see I've got them all on one list here. And again, you scroll down to the bottom and you see about 685. Now, why is that important? Well, the reality is if I'm trying to market an investment opportunity, then I'm probably going to want to send this group out that particular information or that particular first email, and not necessarily mention that they are a as part of a family investment office. Because if they are, they may not be the head, but they may be somebody at a very senior position that may take that investment opportunity to that family office and say, look, I received this, we should reach out to them. It looks like it will fit our background. That's really the key, is to hit those ones that are hiding in plain sight, as they say. You can see here, here's the scoring, how I did the scoring. So each contact is scored out of 100 across 5 dimensions. And that includes seniority, industry, company skill, contact data, completedness, and location. And then the tier breakdown. What does it mean? Well, platinum, if they're in the platinum, that means they got to score between 80 and 100. Highest value contacts in the database. In other words, if somebody said, we can only go out to 50 or 100, who are we going to go out to? Then these would be the ones that we would look at. So these are typically going to be chairman, founder in investment management or financial services, Abu Dhabi or Dubai, large firms. So there's some key screening. Then you can see gold, strong commercial value, well qualified, CEO, founder in real estate, finance, direct email. Well, they all have direct email, so that's no issue. Many of them do have mobiles, so that's how that got picked up. So obviously the first two are going to have mobiles. And then investor potential flag, capital sector, either capital sector or capital seniority or both. So again, you can see this is the science behind all that. And then we take a look here lastly at a final review here. You can see here the platinum, 303 of them were platinum. That's about 1.7% of the database. Highest value, chairman founders, gold 26, silver 60. And then you can see here standard, well, we didn't have none because we didn't include what we call baseline plain. They didn't really fit the screening. They're not part of the database. Again, this particular database started off at 65,000 CEOs, chairmen, managing directors. What it did take out was sales managers, anything that wasn't necessarily at that top level. It might have said associate, it might have said director, so we got rid of those. Even those could be valuable for some campaigns. If you're looking at a campaign and the entry is $50,000, then 65,000 of those would probably be okay because that's a really low ticket. But this is really for large campaigns, $50 million and up, and typically the entry has to be at least $250,000 per person. So you can see here, that's how we rounded out that. So that is basically the Excel part of the presentation and the science behind how we came up with all those numbers. One important notice, I like to mention this for all my databases, even though this one isn't for sale, but it's important for all users if you've watched any of my other videos or if you check the website. So data sourcing, this database blends leading institutional data, public records, and real-world intelligence from past fundraising mandates, providing a deep pool of verified UAE contacts. Many of the contacts that are in my databases are ones that have been refined and updated from other campaigns I've worked on in the past few years. Again, this is institutional quality database. Now, accuracy and currency, so it's primarily updated in 2025 and 2026. Contact roles and investment sentiments naturally evolve. Results are not guaranteed. Data is best leveraged by organizations and dedicated teams. Verification notice, so family office affiliation is an estimate derived from signal inference and historical contacts and cannot be 100% verified. Data is a foundation for outreach, not a guarantee of income. Now, notice, it's strictly available to corporate or institutional grade groups only. There's no personal sales for my databases. If you come to my website, I'm going to ask you a few questions about who you're with. If you can't tell me, unfortunately, I can't help you with the database. And again, the database that I'm going to show is purely for people that are currently looking to raise capital and would like some assistance from myself on some of the strategy and outreach and, of course, the use of the database. For more information on this database, click the link in the description below. That's www.dubaiinvestorslist.com. That's dubaiinvestorslist.com. Please like, share, and subscribe.